Yeah, good afternoon. Let's resume our discussion on multi-rate signal processing lab sheet. So if you have any question on the last lab sheet, please let me know. First, let us discuss that and then we'll move on. Okay, no questions? You people started or didn't start? Hello? Yeah, are there any questions or you have not yet started? Hello, are you there?
Yes, sir. I didn't start yet, sir.
So didn't started yet, but understood the theory part.
Okay, fine. That's fine. Okay, so let me go ahead then with the discussion of this last week, and you can start doing them. And now, subsequently, if you have any questions, you can ask me then. Okay. So in the last lab, we have discussed about the effect of downsampling, the discrete signal, and the filtering, pre-filtering that is required to avoid aliasing when we do downsampling of a discrete signal. Okay, so in summary, the discussion of last class is actually we need to apply a low pass filter before we perform downsampling to avoid aliasing. So one of you tell what's the reason for applying low pass filter before this downsampling? We can also apply after the downsampling is done, right? Yeah, quick answers are welcome because
to avoid the aliasing.
Okay, that's fine. See, I can let the aliasing happen and then I will filter the part which is not aliased. Then what's the difference between applying before and after? Yeah, if some of you remember in the example that I have discussed in the last class, you can very clearly convey this.
Sir, if we apply aliasing before, then the signal produced after won't overlap each other.
Right, that's true.
And if we don't,
any other difference if we apply before versus later? Yeah, if you people remember in the last example, the last class example, if you, yeah, please go ahead. Somebody is telling? Yeah, see in the example that we have seen, if we don't apply pre-filter, okay, then what is the non-aliased range? So you can see that the initially the spectrum is from -2 pi by 3 to 2 pi by 3. Okay, and now if I downsample by 2 times, then it will go from -4 pi by 3 to 4 pi by 3, as you can see in this slide. Okay, and then this spectrum, okay, which is a spectrum which will repeat. Okay, that spectrum will start at 2 pi and then it will extend up to say what, pi by 3. Okay, so because of that, what will happen? The only range that's non-aliased, okay, will be from -pi by 3 to pi by 3. Whereas in sense -2 pi by 3 to 2 pi by 3 in this spectrum, but this is a downsampled spectrum. So if you want to see in original spectrum where is that part, then it is only -pi by 3 to pi by 3. Okay, here it is 2 pi by 3 minus 2 pi by 3, so it is essentially 2 pi by 3. Is that correct? 2 pi by 3 minus 4 pi by 3, so it is essentially 2 pi by 3. Okay, so in, as you can see, the spectrum that is not aliased is -2 pi by 3 to 2 pi by 3 in downsampled spectrum, or -pi by 3 to pi by 3 only. Whereas if I apply pre-filter for a downsampling of 2, what is the cutoff frequency of the filter, non-aliasing anti-aliasing filter? What should be the cutoff frequency of anti-aliasing filter such that I can avoid aliasing after downsampling by 2 for this signal? Can one of you tell? In fact, for any signal, any spectrum, when I want to downsample by 2, what is the low pass filter cutoff frequency should be? Yeah, quick answer is welcome. See, what should be the cutoff frequency of the low pass filter if I want to avoid aliasing? I want to downsample by 2 for the spectrum. In fact, for any spectrum.
Pi by 2.
Pi by 2. Why pi by 2? Yeah, answer is correct. Why pi by 2?
We will get in the range of pi to pi after downsample.
That's all. Once you downsample by 2, minus pi to pi will be a complete spectrum, which is not, say, only the spectrum is in range minus pi to pi. And whatever the stretch comes around 2 pi, again will be minus pi to pi around it. Okay, so no aliasing will happen. We are restricting the spectrum range to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 because we are downsampling by 2 times. Okay, and hence in the downsample spectrum, only from minus pi by 2 to pi, the spectrum is restricted. And the repetition comes only around 2 pi minus pi to pi. And hence no aliasing, right? If I want to downsample by 3, then what is the range of the low pass filter I should have to avoid aliasing?
Pi
Yeah,
by 3.
Pi by
pi by 3. Minus pi by 3 to pi by 3. If I want to downsample by 5 times,
Pi by 5.
that's all. Because when I downsample by 5 times, the spectrum stretches 5 times and then it will be from minus pi to pi. Okay, the repetition of, say there will be 4 repetitions if there is a downsample. Okay, if once first spectrum is at 0, second spectrum is 2 pi into 5. Okay, so there are 5 copies that are left in between to make that repetition happen 4 times. Okay, so the second one will come around 2 pi. Again stretches from minus pi to pi and hence no aliasing happens. But if I don't do that before downsampling, then what will happen? This already stretches by 5 times. Okay, and then this also will stretch by 5 times. Okay, repeated once. Okay, so there will be good overlap. And hence I need to, because of C, only this part will be lost. Okay, if I did before filtering. If I don't do pre-filtering, then this whole part, this part is also lost. Okay, I can get the non-aliased or uncorrupted frequencies only from here, not from pi. Okay, so if we apply pre-filtering, whatever may be the reason, up to say minus pi to pi in the downsampled version, you will have the unaliased frequencies, or in this minus pi by m to plus pi by m. Right? Is this clear? Is this discussion clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, I assume it is clear. Okay, so that's why we are saying that low pass filter has to be from minus pi to pi and it has to be before the downsampling. And this together, downsampling with pre-filtering is the anti-aliasing filter is called decimation. Okay, and if we want, see, this is for the how the downsampling has to be performed to avoid aliasing. But if we have a freedom to increase the sampling frequency, okay, then if we know that we want to downsample anyway by m times, okay, so then what is the sampling frequency that we can do so that no aliasing can happen when the maximum frequency of the signal is m? The answer is, say the maximum frequency is fm. I know that I want to downsample subsequently after sampling, okay, by m times. Initially I will sample, okay, by with fs only. But after that, I want to downsample by m times. I know that. So for that, to avoid aliasing, what should be the initial sampling frequency? It has to be not the twice the maximum frequency of the signal, but twice the m times the maximum frequency of the signal. Because I will subsequently be stretching by m times. Okay, so this is the other way of avoiding aliasing. What is the difference between first way and second way? Can one of you quickly comment? What is the difference between the discussion that is there in this point versus this point? A good answer is welcome now. Is this clear? Second
Earlier
point?
we were truncating to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2
Right.
through
Correct.
low pass.
In this case, we are truncating. Fine. In this case?
In this case, we are choosing it maximum to be 2mf.
Right. So in this case, do we have freedom to select the sampling frequency in the first case? Do we have freedom to select the sampling frequency in the first case?
No.
No, the reason is we are started with xn, already sampled signal. In this, we are saying when there is a continuous time signal and you have freedom to select sampling frequency, how much should it be, such that you avoid aliasing. Okay, so these are two different aspects of understanding the downsampling effect and to avoid aliasing. Okay, so see, one more thing that you can understand is this low pass filter can be applied, or the implementation of low pass filter can be done both in time domain and frequency domain. Okay, what do I mean by doing in time domain? What do I do in time domain if I want to apply low pass filter in time domain? Again, a quick answer is welcome.
Convolution.
Yeah, convolution with what?
Sync function.
Sync function. Yeah, it will be a sync function, but it's h of n. So I will get the anyway. I will design. Okay, h practical of n or h practical a power j omega. Okay, it's not ideal filter. Okay, after windowing and so on, I may get the practical frequency response, and I will get the practical impulse response of it. Okay, so what we are saying is simply is h of n and h of e power j omega. H desired is what we are saying, h d of n and h d of e power j omega, right? So we get these things and then use, say, apply in time domain. So the sequence x of n can be of, say, n cross 1, any dimension. Okay, and this can be, say, m cross n. Okay, different dimension. Still I can do perform convolution. And then I will do on the top of the convolved signal, I will apply downsampling. Is this fine? This is doing in time domain. Okay. So here, is this clear? Is this, say, if I write h downsampled version of n. Okay. So x downsampled version of n is equal to what? X of n convolved with h of n. Right? So this is in time domain. Applying filtering time domain. What do I mean by applying filtering in frequency domain? What do we mean by applying filter in frequency domain? Yeah, quick answer is again welcome. X ds of e power j omega is what I want. Is equal to x of e power j omega into what?
H p of e to the power
Yeah,
j
what?
omega.
See, in this case, what you should make sure. I want to do multiplication, fine. But in this case, it is n cross n and m cross 1. Okay, both are different dimensions. Still, I can perform convolution. But in this case, what should I ensure? What should I ensure?
Same dimension.
Yeah, this is d cross n cross 1 because DFT, DT. If I may do this frequency domain implementation by DFT, I can't apply DTFT. What is the reason for not being able to apply DTFT? Why I can't apply DTFT?
Continuous.
Yeah, because DTFT is continuous. So I need to apply DFT. Okay, and DFT, this is n cross 1 and this is m cross 1. Then what do I do? This is element wise product. Okay, so what do I do? To perform element wise product or multiplication.
Same length.
Yeah, how do I make it same length? That's the question. Simply okay, 0 pad, usually m to n, because signal is of higher length usually. Okay, just 0 pad, that's all, and then do that. Okay, so and however, you can see that the frequency domain filtering usually is better. Okay, it will give sharp, like it doesn't have ringing effects, which you can notice in the time domain filtering through convolution. That you will anyway experiment and see. Okay, in fact, you need to do in lab both of these things. Okay, so now let's move on our discussion to upsampling. Okay, so in upsampling, what do we do? If we are upsampling, we are writing this as x of n by L for n equal to KL. Okay, and 0 else. So what are we doing? If we are upsampling by 2 times, okay, means that every alternative sample, what we are doing, we are taking from x of n, okay, and then in between we are putting zeros, right? And then alternative sample we are taking, correct? So this is what exactly is written in that statement. So it is say n equal to 2 times 2 times L. Then in that case, what you have directly x2 of n is equal to x of n by L. Okay, please note that n by L. Okay, sorry. 2 times what? 2 times k here. Because L itself is what? L itself is 2. Okay, n by 2. When n is multiple of 2. Right? Otherwise, it is equal to 0. That's what we have done. Is this fine or not? Okay. So now what if we write this in mathematical expression? You can write this through delta function like this. X of k sample will come, non-zero sample will come. Whenever n is multiple of kl, k is an integer and L is the upsampling factor. Okay. And otherwise it is 0. That's all. So this is upsample signal. But this upsample signal, as you know, is the like only putting in between zeros. Okay, please note that. So this, what is the consequence of this in frequency domain if we see? Okay, we can write a discrete time Fourier transform of it and substitute these things. Okay, and then you can see that in fact you can substitute this also to conveniently see this. Okay, and you can see that this is a k equal to minus infinity infinity x of k e power minus j omega kl, or in other words, you have actually x of u is, okay, x u of e power j omega is x of e power j omega l. Is this clear? Hope you can understand this. What's happening in this to the spectrum now? If we do upsampling, what's happening to the spectrum?
It is reducing.
It is
Yes.
yeah, it is squeezed in sense that it is compressed. Spectrum is like stretched. Instead of stretching up, you are stretching down. Okay, it's compressed. So you can see that now. If this is the spectrum initially you start with, similar to what example we have taken, where the spectrum is from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Okay, now if I down upsample by 2, what will happen? This spectrum gets squeezed, okay, by half. Then you can see that the this all scaled down, okay, by 2. So now you can see that same whatever you had minus pi to pi is there now minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Okay, and whatever the other spectrums will come. See, which is the range I should look to understand, is this spectrum x upsampled version of e power j omega same as the original spectrum or not? What is the range should I look at? So I just want to comment whether this upsampled spectrum x u e power j omega is same as the original spectrum x of e power j omega or not. Okay, that's my question. To comment on that or to decide on that, what is the range I should look at? Again, I answer
Pi
this
by 4 to pi by 4.
No, see the if I give you any discrete time Fourier transform, okay, what is the range of the spectrum you look at to say that this is the spectrum? If I give you some arbitrary x of e power j omega, what is the range you suggest? Yeah, please go ahead.
Minus pi to pi.
Minus pi to pi or 0 to 2 pi, right? So I need to look at the same range even here. So whether let it be in x u of e power j omega or x of e power j omega. But if you see them now, are they both same? Looking at least in the spectrum, are they looking similar? You see the minus pi to pi range here, minus pi to pi range here. Are they looking exactly like same content of this, like the information is there in this and this are not? Yes or no?
No.
No. The reason is, you see, this is not the signal that we are looking like this. This you say it is a ramp. If you want to put a continuous time signal here, it's completely different. Is it not? So there is some unnecessary information here. So we want to filter that out. Now the question is, what should be the low cutoff frequency of the filter I should consider? If I upsample by 2, what is the range I should look? Okay, after upsampling and say that this spectrum will be exactly can be seen in this range itself. What is the range? If I upsample by L times, then what is the range of frequencies I should look at here?
Fs by L.
Okay, Fs by L, but here there is no Fs, right? The discussion is from minus pi to pi and so on here. It's a discrete time for a transform. See here, in this example, you tell first. In this example, where is the information that is there in original signal?
Pi by 2 to pi by 2.
Minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, because the upsampling is 2 times. Okay, now if I upsample by L times, then what is the range you can expect that the same information will be there, which is there from minus pi to pi here? If I upsample by L times.
Minus pi by L to pi by L.
Pi by L. So if I take only that information in minus pi to pi, in the upsampled signal, is that not enough to get the same spectral content as that of the original signal? Of course, it may be stretched or say scaled down. Yes or no? Yes or no? What is the range I should consider to get the same content if I upsample by L times?
Minus pi by L to pi by L.
That's all. So if I consider minus pi by 2 L to pi minus pi by L to pi by L, okay, I will get the same information. So how do I get that range? I only want to consider in this range. I don't want to consider other range. So what should I apply now? I should again apply a low pass filter, but the range of low pass filter now is minus pi by 2 by L to pi by L, and it has to be before or after performing the upsampling operation. After. Okay, if I apply before, what will happen? If I apply before, what do you think will happen? Yeah, quick answer is welcome. Assume that there is a signal like this. Okay. I upsample it now. If I upsample this again, minus pi to pi will come again from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Okay, it will be like this. Yes or no?
Information is lost.
Yeah. So if I now apply before itself a filter from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, okay, what will happen? What will happen? Yeah, please repeat your answer. It's correct, right?
Information is lost. Right?
Yeah,
Like
information
minus
is
pi to
lost.
pi.
Whatever is there in original signal from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 is only retained, but not from minus pi to pi. Okay, so I should apply only after performing the upsampling operation. Yes or no? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. I assume it is clear. Okay, so fine. So you need to apply after an upsampling operation a filter. This is usually called as interpolation filter, because the effect of it in time domain, if you see, okay, so it's say the filter is essentially of this nature, right? So you can see that. So HLP of e power j omega, if you see, ideally, it is of this nature. Okay, so and then its time domain response is a sinc function, right? And then if I apply time domain, what's happening if I want to see? Okay, its convolution in x u of n with xlp of n, right? So whatever I have here, so x u of n and convolution with this filter, and what is that is this. Okay, so essentially that xi of n is equal to this. So what's happening here essentially? Say I'm convolving with a sinc function is nothing but what? Interpolation operation. Okay, if you people have seen before a convolution with a sinc function, it is essentially the interpolation is done through convolution with a sinc function. Correct or not? Signal reconstruction, if you want to do, say if you have a discrete signal and if you want to reconstruct your signal, okay, to continuous time domain, to analog signal, what will you do? What will you do? A discrete signal to continuous time domain, continuous time signal. Discrete time to, what will you do? Yeah, please answer if you know. No answer. You people doesn't know or what? If you have a discrete signal and if you want to make a say discrete to continuous time or say discrete to analog, okay, if you want to make a signal, What is the operation we need to do? Yeah, you need to do convolution with a low pass filter. That's all. So that will nicely low pass filter means what? A smoothing filter. You see, if you do averaging filter in between as many points as you wish, you can just average around this, say from wherever range you are, say from here to here. Okay, and then put at this location. Okay, if it is not there before, like that, you keep moving average filter. That itself will do nice smooth turning of the discrete time signal and brings to continuous time domain. Okay, I think you should be knowing it. Okay, so that's what is essentially is done even here. Okay, increasing the sampling rate. So even for increasing the sampling rate is bringing intermediate sample. Okay, that's done through low pass filter. Okay, so this is almost similar to signal reconstruction process. However, this is all in discrete domain. Please note that you don't get into the continuous domain. You are just bringing interpolation in the in-between samples. Okay, and if you do that, what happens? The intermediate, this spectrum goes, okay, and you will have actually gap from -pi to pi. Okay, so then if you see the repeated spectrum, okay, you will only have actually the repeated spectrum. Now, if you see, I will sketch it here. How will it look like? So say I just want to put x interpolated e power j omega. I want to sketch. How does it look like? Can somebody tell quickly before I sketch? Okay. Where is the next repetition comes? You people understood or not understood? Is this clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So why there is no reply then? So you are much slower than me, is it? Okay. So this is what happens. The other rest of the things will go, and again the signal that you see is again from -pi to. Okay. Only the difference is previously you had seen. Sorry. So previously you had seen -pi/2 to pi/2. So is there a mistake in my plot, my sketching? Is there a mistake or not? If you have understood, you should be able to tell. -pi/4 to pi/4. Okay. So it's only from -pi/4 to pi/4. Okay, and then from -pi to pi, you see the spectrum shape looks exactly as before, but the spectrum is from -pi/2 to pi/4 to pi/4 instead of -pi/2 to pi/2. Why? What is the reason? What is the reason?
Down upsample.
Yeah, it's already upsampled, so you have like scale down the spectrum, or you compress the spectrum. Okay, by half. That's what is shown here. Again, around 2 pi it repeats, but the spectrum around 2 pi will also be like this, narrow. Right? Okay. So I assume that this is also clear. Okay, and moving on. So now if you want to perform sampling rate conversion, see, usually if you need to increase sampling rate, say if you want to bring 8 kilohertz to 16 kilohertz. Okay, what is the operation that's required? If x of n is 8 kilohertz and x dash n is 16 kilohertz, what is the operation in between that's required? What is the intermediate that's required in between to increase the sampling rate to 16 kilohertz? 8 kilohertz to 4 kilohertz if I want to do. What is the operation required? Everyone is thinking, other students will answer. Where is it?
Eight to 4 x of 2n.
Okay, that's true. X of 2n, fine. What is the operation required is the question.
Downsampling.
Yeah, downsampling by how much?
2.
Yeah. What's the operation required here? 8 to 16.
Upsampling.
By 2. Okay. So, but if I want to change the sampling rate from 8 kilohertz to 12 kilohertz, okay, in that case, what is the operation required? then I need to increase the sampling rate and decrease. Both of them has to be done. Okay, in fact, I can increase by 3 times. Okay, sorry, I can increase the sampling rate by 3 times, and then I can increase the sampling rate by 3 times. Okay, and then decrease by 2 times. Okay, 3 times if I increase, it will be 24, and then decrease by 2. Okay, it is 12, right? So these are refers to fractional sampling rate conversions. Right? So if I want to perform fractional sampling rate conversions, I need to perform what and what? Okay, I need to perform both upsampling and downsampling, right? Now the question is, which must be performed first? So should we do it first upsampling or downsampling? Shall I do first downsampling by 2 times and then upsample by 3 times in this example? Huh? Yes or no? Shall I first downsample by,
Sir, but if we do downsampling first, then we might lose something due to aliasing, right?
due to?
Aliasing effect.
Right. Why aliasing happens only in downsampling? Why not it happen in upsampling?
But if you do the downsampling, we might lose some information.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with you people. But why does aliasing or information loss happens only in downsampling? Why not in upsampling?
Because the signal repeats itself the time and
Very
the
good,
number of
very
times we do downsampling. That's
Good,
why.
good. No, so the repetition happens only because of sampling. Okay, you are doing downsampling means you are sampling a sampled signal and then it is repeating as many like times you are downsampling, or 1 minus of 1 times as you are downsampling. So because of these repetitions, the aliasing happens and information loss happens. Upsampling, it is just simply same spectrum, no change happens. It is just stretching down. So whatever is the information, that is intact, no aliasing happens because no repetition. So we perform upsampling. The advantage of performing upsampling is, see, if we perform upsampling and apply filtering, see, you see here, previously whatever information you had, is from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Okay, in the range, the information you had means in minus pi by 2 pi minus pi to pi only. But the information is from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 only. Now, if you apply this upsampling and filtering, information is now very compactly there in minus pi by 2 to minus pi by 4 to pi by 4 only. Okay, so because of this, now, if you want to downsample this, how many times you can downsample this without any information loss or aliasing? If I want to downsample this, okay, how many times I can downsample without any aliasing? The answer is required. How many times I can downsample this further without any loss of information?
4 times.
4 times. Whereas this, how many times I can downsample?
2 times.
Very good. So you can see that actually if I perform upsampling and filtering, okay, I have the provision to downsample for more times as well. The reason is I have already applied low pass filtering and so on. Okay, so now the question is, see, I can do low pass filtering. So usually upsampling followed by low pass filtering is what is needed, and downsampling before that low pass filtering is needed. But now question is, I have 2 low pass filters, one for after upsampling, one before downsampling. Should I apply 2 low pass filters, or one is good enough? Should I apply 2 low pass, one low pass filter is like this. Okay, another low pass filter is like this. Okay, this is one choice. This other one is, say, one low pass filter is like this. Okay, second low pass filter is like this. In this second case, for example, let's see the second case. In this case, so this is the low pass filter for the upsampling one. Okay, and this is low pass filter for the downsampling one. Okay, so this is from minus pi by L to pi by L. Okay, and this is pi by M to pi by M. In this case, both are required. Both low pass filters are required to be applied. Which is good enough? Which one is good enough?
One is enough. Minimum.
Yeah,
of-
which one is good enough?
Whichever is the highest cutoff frequency, having highest cutoff.
Okay, whichever is having higher cutoff frequency. Okay, so in both cases, you can see that one is good enough. So higher cutoff frequency means pi by say numerator, denominator if you see minimum of this, right? So pi by minimum of L comma M if you consider, okay, that's good enough to have one low pass filter. So this is the complete block diagram if you want to perform, okay, upsampling followed by downsampling or sampling rate conversion. Okay, so in your lab exercises, you are asked to do the reverse process as well, just to notice what's happening. Okay, so you're asked to do, you may like do first down sampling and then apply filtering and then up sampling and so on. Okay, so you're asked to do that as well, just to see the effect. Okay, but however, this is also asked to do. So in as per the convention of sampling rate conversion. So hope these things are clear. So here low pass filter also can be applied either in both in time and frequency domain, so that you can experiment and see which is the better low pass filter. Okay. So are there any questions now on this, whatever I have discussed? Yeah, are there any questions? Okay, I will just try to see if I can discuss quickly on the lab sheet now. If you have any questions, you are welcome to ask first. Okay, I assume no questions. Okay, fine. Okay, so hope you are able to see the lab sheet. Okay, now I will quickly ask a couple of questions before I conclude. So you need to say this is the original sampling frequency. Okay, and then you need to downsample by 4 times. If you downsample by 4 times, what will be the sampling frequency? Sorry, yeah, Fs. So Fs here is equal to 20 Hz. Okay, if you downsample by 4 times, what is the sampling frequency?
5.
It is 5 Hz. So will there be an aliasing that happens for the signal? So the signal is 2 pi into f0 or f1 into t. Okay, that's how we write, right? 2 pi into f1 into t. Or f0 into t, whatever. F2 pi ft is what is this, right? So what is the frequency of the first component here?
5.
5. So will there be aliasing or not?
No.
No aliasing? No, in the original frequency, you don't have any aliasing. Okay, in x of n, right? But you will decide just by looking at it, or you need to look at any other component to see whether there is a aliasing or not. Which one you have to see? F1 or F2? Which one you have to
Maximum
see?
frequency.
Yeah, maximum frequency. What is it here in this? What is
10.
the maximum frequency?
10.
10. So will there be aliasing or not? So
Yes,
exactly got
yes.
that. Yeah, you can see that there is a margin, like at one point there will be aliasing at 0 Hz. So you can see that. So you can see, you should be able to sketch the spectrum. See, if I ask you to, even in this case, you should also be able to sketch the spectrum. If I ask you to sketch the spectrum, from where to where you will sketch? Tell me. If I ask you to sketch the spectrum, in general, for this spectrum is discrete Fourier transform spectrum. Okay, and the frequency axis. This axis has to be in what? In Hz. Okay, so if I ask you to do that, from where to where will you sketch? What is the range? Will you go from minus infinity to infinity? For sketching these spectrums?
Fs minus Fs by 2 to Fs by 2.
Very good. Minus Fs by 2 to Fs by 2. Okay, that's the range you need to look at. That's all. In the either case, Fs may be different. In this case, it is different. In this case, it is different. But to know this minus Fs by 2 to Fs by 2, you may need to sketch a little more. Okay, in this case. So because some of the spectrums beyond FS may come to FS when you perform downsampling and so on. Okay, so that you need to take care, but essentially, finally, you need to sketch from minus FS by 2 to FS, right? Okay, so now the question is, you are asked to perform, oh, fine. First, you are asked to upsample by 5 times, okay, and then downsample by 4 times in this example. So if you upsample by 5 times, then what is the frequency? So 20 will become how much? 20 will become 100 H, and if you downsample by 4 times, then it becomes what?
25.
25. Then I think, then is there aliasing? No aliasing, right? So that you can see. Also, sketch the spectrums in each of these things. See, before you perform your experiments, you have to sketch. Okay, and one more thing is, you see all the intermediate results. See, I have plotted the spectrums in the notes before, right? So why did I sketch the spectrums? To get an idea of how they should be. Okay, and you should also, every step you perform in, like if you want to do upsampling, before filtering itself. So xi e power j omega you have to plot. Okay, so you should plot all the intermediate spectrums as well. You should plot actually xi e power j omega. Okay, then xu e power j omega, xi e power j omega. Okay, this is after filtering. Okay, so filtering you can decide based on M and N, M and L, not just only based on M. Okay, and after that x d e power j omega. Okay, each of the spectrums you have to sketch. Okay, x ds e power j omega also if it is there, right? Okay, then only you will be able to do some able to get some meaningful results, and then you will get what is expected. Okay, otherwise you won't understand what you are getting. Sometimes if you it depends upon time and frequency domains as well. Okay, sometimes it looks completely something else. You may not even interpret. So you need to sketch all of those things and understand clearly where the peak sums. Okay, and what so you should know both in FS, also in pi, minus pi to pi range. Because if you apply freak z function, you will get only from minus pi to pi. Okay, even if you apply freak z function minus 1 to 1, you will get. Okay, so you need to convert minus pi to pi, you will get, you need to convert. Similarly, it depends upon the function you use. Okay, you will get only some values for the x-axis. You need to normalize to exactly know whether you are getting at the respective places or not. Fine. Hope you will be able to do it, right? So any question on the first question? Implementing the first question. Okay. If you don't have any question, then I will move on to the second question. Second question is also same. In fact, all the questions are same. I need not repeat, but only just for the, there are some changes in, like sometimes aliasing happens, sometimes aliasing doesn't happen. Okay. Sometimes you need to apply FIR filter in time domain, sometimes in frequency domain. Okay, and the length of FIR filter also may be asked to explicitly mention. So some such things, that's all. So otherwise, roughly the questions are same. So only the way they are posed are slightly different. So now you have again 80 Hz signal. Okay, and downsample by 2. And then show the spectrum. Here there is no upsampling. Okay, so here it is very clearly you are just downsampling. Okay, so I hope you will be able to do it. And then the third question is an upsampling only. Okay, and then filtering, you have to do pi by m or pi by l based on what you are doing, before or after as well, based on upsampling and downsampling. And the last question is from 80 Hz to 120 Hz, exactly similar to whatever the example we have discussed. Okay, so is there any questions now on the lab sheet? On both lab sheets, in fact. So previous lab sheet also we have discussed only 2 questions there, but third question now is covered because upsampling is now familiar to you. Okay, if you have any question, quickly ask. Otherwise, I will conclude. Thank you then. I'm leaving and I request Suravardhan to take over. Suravardhan, you are there, right? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah, fine. Okay. Fine then. Hope Suravardhan is here.
Yeah, sir. Here, sir.
Okay. Fine then. You people can take over.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I hope no questions. I'm leaving. Bye.
So try to finish your lab sheet as soon as possible. So again, you have to go on the travel. So then come to quarantine. So much time it will take. So better to this time you have to finish your work. So once if you're coming to here, then you can concentrate on study. So again, the external exam will be come out now.
Sir, what is the deadline for mini project submission, sir?
Mini project submission, there is no deadline. The last date means 22nd, we have one more lab. 19th is the holiday.
Yes.
So 22nd is that one more lab. And next on the day, next week, 26th, it would become. And 3rd is the last day. Okay. So mostly we are planning to December 3rd is that mini project discussion. And 26th maybe for your external exam. Okay.
Okay.
So this is a tentative planning. So whether we will do this one before exam or after exam, okay, or sometimes due to this traveling to quarantine sometime, okay. So how this will be take place? Just we will say this one, okay. So this is the tentative.
Okay.
We said it.
And
Yeah.
should we make any report for the mini project, sir? Is there any model report?
Last two batches, there is no repetition. That means there is no
Report.
only presentation has to make. Presentation means, so what are what are the theme of this one? So what are the background? Okay, that means what is the background study for this one? Okay, so
Okay.
what are the parameters we are concentrating to study these the projects? So with the help of your algorithm, so is there any achievement you done this one? So what are that parameters it changed? So these are the things only you have to say. And
Okay.
report, no need to make any report. If you are doing any MATLAB simulation or anything, not only MATLAB, if there is anything Python also, if you are making those, if you are saving those things, and whenever this presentation time would become, so then that time if you're showing these things, you can get the better marks. That's one, better grading.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So there is no need to make any report like display, theory, programming, all this stuff. Okay. If you have done any programming on your mini project, okay, if you have any got the result, all this stuff, if you are showing on the day, so it would be very better. So those people will get that a good score.
Okay, sir.
Sir. Sir.
Hello?
Sir. Sir, I have doubt in WC lab sheet, sir. Lab sheet file.
Uh-huh.
QPSK, I have doubt.
Okay.
In that bit probability of error, what formula we need to use? Q function of SNR, root SNR, sir.
Once again, Q of?
Q of root SNR.
Yeah.
Okay. Then this SNR will be 2a square by n naught, sir.
A square value would be the same only. Two will come, I think.
Okay, sir. And for me, the graph theoretical and practical slight variation is there. I don't know why. I use
Slight variation, okay, fine, not issue. If it is giving that huge differences, that means if it is starting from 10 power minus 2, it will starting from some other point, so then it will be variation.
okay, sir. Good.